Today we're talking about aggravated assault and specifically the penalties if you're convicted of aggravated assault. In other videos, I've discussed the different types of conduct that is prohibited. So things like using a deadly weapon in an assault, creating substantial disfigurement, fracturing somebody's bones, committing an assault on a different protected class like police officers, prosecutors, firefighters, code enforcement officers, judicial officers. These types of things will cause somebody to be charged with aggravated assault, but there's different penalties depending upon the conduct that you're convicted of. So let's run through the statute. Again, it's 13-1204. That's where the aggravated assault statute resides. It's a big kind of convoluted statute. They have different sections where they're going to be indicating what the different penalties are based upon the different conduct, but I tried to summarize everything into this one whiteboard, and let's run through it. So first of all, there are special rules for police officers. So if a police officer is involved in the aggravated assault, their penalties are different than other people. And same with prosecutors. They want to give these people special protections because they wanted to do that. That's the wisdom of our legislature. Police officers and prosecutors have special protections. So if there's an assault and you're convicted of this against a police officer and you are using a deadly weapon, or you cause a serious physical injury to a police officer, that's going to be a Class 2 felony, and you have to go to prison for that for the presumptive term. So it's very, very serious. In other videos, I explain what serious physical injury is, but it essentially is when somebody loses the function of something, a limb, or they have substantial disfigurement, something that's more permanent. It's a serious physical injury. Or using a deadly weapon, again, Class 2 felonies. If there is serious injury, but it's more temporary, that's a Class 3 felony. So it's not as serious, but they have temporary disfigurement or temporary injury, bones are fractured, but they'll heal. That's going to be a serious temporary injury. That's going to be a Class 3 felony. If the officer is just regularly injured, it's a Class 4 felony. So let's say, for example, an officer gets in a tussle and they're scraped, they're bruised, they've got some raspberries or some injuries that they want to complain about, some strained muscles or whatever. That's going to be a Class 4 felony. But if there's just a regular assault and there's some offensive contact with the officer, it's going to be a Class 5 felony. So really anything involving an officer is going to be a felony, and you want to be very cautious about that. So anything involving a peace officer has these special rules. Same with a prosecutor. Serious physical injury or a deadly weapon, those are again Class 2 felonies, the same that we see up here with the peace officers. If it's a serious temporary injury, Class 3 felony, same as up here. And if it's just a regular injury, it's a Class 5 felony. Everybody else falls into this bottom section here. So serious physical injury or deadly weapon, and this includes if somebody takes a weapon from a police officer or they take a weapon from a security guard within a prison, or they use a simulated deadly weapon. So if they're assaulting somebody with a simulated deadly weapon, these are all going to be Class 3 felonies. However, if the assault occurs against somebody who's under the age of 15, it elevates it to a Class 2 felony. So you can see it's a little bit lower up here. So for these two, the serious physical injury for prosecutors and police officers are Class 2s, but down here they're Class 3s. Unless the victim is under the age of 15, then it's a Class 2. If there's serious temporary injury, or if there's choking or the impediment of a person's breathing or their blood circulation, those are all going to be Class 4 felonies. So this is very common. We do see this a lot. As I said in other videos, somebody is choking somebody or there's just contact with a person's neck as a result of a fight. That's going to be a Class 4 felony. Everything else, all the other conduct, is going to be a Class 6 felony. So that includes if the victim is bound or restrained or they are limited in terms of their ability to fight back or to escape or any of those things, it's going to be a Class 6 felony. Same if somebody enters into a private home and commits an assault, Class 6 felony. If the person is over the age of 18 or 18 and above and the victim is under the age of 15, Class 6 felony. If there's a violation of an order of protection, so if a court enters an order that says there's not to be any conduct or any contact with this individual, there's an individual who's protected and an assault occurs, that's going to be a Class 6 felony. And finally, there's a whole slew of other protected classes. I talked about this at length in a video where we're talking about firefighters, code enforcement officers, judicial officers, all sorts of other people who are in protected classes, not in the prosecutor class or the peace officer class, but in other classes. Teachers, nurse practitioners, health practitioners, those types of people, if there's an assault that occurs against them, it's going to be a class 6 felony. So you can see here the statute, the penalties are kind of all over the place. If you look up the statute, it's a big block of text that just basically lists off a bunch of different numbers, and then you have to go back and match the number to the penalty. It's just kind of convoluted the way that it works. But this is a good summary of how it works. Unless you fall into this category with prosecutors or police officers, and unless you have choked somebody or done something with their circulation, there's no serious injury, there wasn't a deadly weapon involved, and there's no substantial temporary disfigurement or any of those things, it's probably going to be a class 6 felony. But of course, any felony is very serious. Aggravated assault is a common charge. The police would really like to enforce it, especially in Arizona around Maricopa County, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. They like to charge aggravated assaults, in particular anything against the police. Anytime an officer is even has minor injuries at all, it's probably going to be a class 4 felony. If an officer is involved in any assault, it's going to be a class 5 felony. And the choking and the circulation around the neck, they charge that very frequently as well. So if you've been charged with aggravated assault, you want to talk to our team about how we can defend against this, give us a call. We offer free case evaluations. We'll sit down with you. We make sure we have a very solid understanding of what happened in your particular case so that we can begin strategizing and determining how we can best make sure that you're not convicted of an aggravated assault. Give our office a call. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks for watching.